You know what was crazy about the Kingdom Keepers? Now that I think about it, I loved that series so much, but I definitely never finished the last book of like the main series.
Oh,
Like I
really?
loved that thing. Probably even reread the first couple books a couple times. Never
Yeah.
finish. I don't know how it ends. I
Oh,
know they go
it's
to Disneyland in the last one. I don't know how it
yeah.
ends.
I enjoyed that series enough, and I liked the finale from what I remember. There's like I think there's something with the Matterhorn that happens in that book that I think is pretty cool, but I can't remember. The craziest thing about that series was like the fifth or sixth books or whatever, where they were on like the cruise line, and then they were like dealing with like Aztec sacrifices and like blood and
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, yo, remember when this series was like, oh, I go to sleep and I get in the Disney park? It was like crazy.
All right. You ready to rock? You ready to roll?
Yeah, I'm ready to rock.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Limitless Park podcast. Whoa, I almost messed that up. We actually did not think about like the alliteration there when it comes to the name. Park. Oh, wait, I didn't even say that.
No, you didn't say the title. Are we gonna do that over? Or no, we leaving it all in.
Maybe, I don't know. Welcome to the hello, everybody, and welcome to the Limitless Park cast.
No. Run it back. Get a clean take. You gotta stop it. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Limitless Park cast, the podcast where I mess up the name on only the second episode. I'm Andrew, your host, and I'm here with my brother / comrade / amigo, Brandon.
No
He's
co-host,
to be
found.
He is
I'm just brother, amigo, comrade, not a co-host.
Helped me rob a bank once. That's like blood brothers.
Let's not put that on the air.
We're following up episode 1, where we discussed all sorts of D23 stuff, with a further in-depth discussion about what we like to call the what if segment of that D23 Parks panel, where Josh D'Amaro and his lovely gang of the Zootopia director, I think.
No, it's the head of Walt Disney Animation.
I did not realize that.
Was it Scott Trowbridge? Or was it a different Imagineer?
Yeah, it was Scott, I think.
Okay.
Josh D'Amaro was up there with a couple people, and they went over some potential blue sky concepts that we could see in the future. We wanted to do a larger dedicated episode to it just because we felt that there was a lot to talk about. But first, because Brandon got on his knees and begged and pleaded me and said, Andrew, please let me talk about the international parks. We didn't get to talk about it on the last episode. Is that a good, fair reenactment of what just happened?
I mean, sure
enough. Not
at
all.
Yeah. I mean, Andrew said, "Hey, what else are we going to talk about other than the what if segment?" And I'm like, "Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the international parks."
And then I opened my mouth and a big a bunch of flies flew out, or what are those
locusts?
Egyptian bugs? Locusts. A bunch of locusts emitted from my mouth as soon as he said that. But we crossed that bridge. We said, okay, fine, Brandon, we'll give you some time. So I mean, what do you think about the international parks?
So there isn't even much. It's like all three of the frozen lands. Well, the two frozen lands that I'm not going to talk about, aka Paris and Hong Kong, look cool. I don't know, man. I'm excited for Oakens.
Yes.
As far as a coaster goes, it looks like it'll be cool, and frozen coaster. Hey, who cares?
I have a hot take, maybe. Sort of a hot take. I think out of all the parks, well, this isn't true. I still like Tokyo the best, but I am more and more getting interested in Hong Kong. As far as the China parks, I guess. I used to be hands down Shanghai, I want to go, but especially over the past few years with the Iron Man, Marvel stuff, and the new castle, and now the Frozen thing with Oakens and everything like that, I really want to go to Hong Kong, more than Shanghai. I'd say Shanghai is probably the lowest now of the parks that we haven't visited.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Mystic Manor is also there, and also seems cool. Yeah, I don't know, Hong Kong seems awesome, but yeah, with the castle thing, they're getting a Walt statue there. I wasn't even going to bring that up, but it looks cool. That's actually when I took my bathroom break during the press conference. So I didn't even see the picture until after the conference, but it looks fine. And it's cool because they didn't have a Walt statue before. And
yeah, I think I texted you when we were watching that, and I was watching a vlog from Hong Kong Disneyland, I think like the day before, and they mentioned how there was no statue there, and it felt like it was missing a partner statue. And I know that this isn't the partner statue, right? But I'm pretty sure it's not.
They're on a bench.
Right.
It's supposed to be still, like recreating the park carousel thing. Recreating in very heavy quotes.
Yeah, but I know. I like the lore of that though, and I think just having a statue there will make it's a small addition, but sometimes small additions are perfect. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got?
I kind of forgot about this completely because it is actually new news, but I don't know. They didn't focus on it much because there wasn't much information to do or to give. But in the Disneyland Studios park, like on the walkway to where that lagoon would be for the Frozen Land and what previously was maybe going to be a Galaxy's Edge mini thing, but nobody really knows anymore, and they haven't said anything on it. But there's like on that walkway, they're going to do a Tangled attraction, and it's like a boat ride, I think. But like, will it be the same one that's in Fantasy Springs in Tokyo, which I'll get to? Who knows? Andrew, do you?
So the Tangled ride, I also thought it was a boat at first. I'm pretty sure it's a flat ride. I'm not sure what kind of flat ride, but if you look at the concept art, there is like the pond with a boat in it. It's like supposed to recreate that. I don't know if like what's her name, Rapunzel and
Flynn. Yeah, Stu, my favorite.
Stu's my favorite Disney prince. I don't know why I said Stu.
No, I was going to say the only reason I actually thought it was a boat attraction is because in your notes that you specifically took, it says boat. And I was like, I didn't remember it being a boat attraction. And then I'm like, whatever, I'll go with it.
Yeah, I think I took that prior to knowing that it was a flat ride. I wasn't paying that. Maybe that was when I took my bathroom break. No, I did the bathroom break during the Frozen song, which I kind of missed out on, I feel like, because when I caught the end of that, I thought that was kind of cool. So
it was good.
I knew they were going to do songs. I was just like, I had to go the next song that came up.
Yeah. I mean,
I would have rather done it.
Take notes on.
End.
But
it's a flat
that was
ride.
A good performance. But okay, flat ride, cool. Or who knows, it might change because there was no opening date, no actual real info. So you don't really know. But nonetheless, that was kind of cool. Was there anything else for any parks other than Tokyo? Oh, for Shanghai, there was the Zootopia land. And then there was the animatronic of like, what was it? It's of the cheetah.
TJ Miller voices him.
No,
I'm pretty sure
that's not TJ Miller. There's no. It's like Sergeant. I don't know, man. I can look at it right now.
I'm looking at it too. Zootopia.
No, it's Nate Torrance.
Wait,
it's Officer Clawhauser.
Oh, I feel like I remember him sounding like TJ Miller.
I don't. I know because he talked very like high pitched. He's like, oh, it's I don't know. Adorable.
I haven't
like,
seen.
It was weird.
I haven't seen Zootopia in a minute. You remember we saw that with Trevor?
Yeah, we saw it with our younger cousin in the theater.
Our younger cousin Trevor. Shout out to him. We'll send him the podcast.
Yeah.
Hey Trevor, we shouted you out in this one.
No, so that animatronic looks really good. There was the animatronics or like the two puppet animatronic kind of things on the show floor in like the Disney Dreams area for the parks. Those look cool. Just if you're going to do puppets in the parks, do the Muppets, guys. Bring back great moments in history, please. That show's been gone forever. And plus they did like the whole this isn't animatronic puppets, but they did that whole Muppets Christmas Carol part of one of those panels that was like really cool. And did you hear about like the whole lost song and how they like, I haven't watched that entire thing, but there was like a lost song that was like considered lost media from that film that got found and restored. And I think they might have performed it live at the thing. And
this was for what?
This is for D23.
Oh. There was a song that they were supposed to perform.
It was a song that was supposed to be in Muppets Christmas Carol. I remember
that. Yeah, and
not
then they
actually
were
that
adding
old. It's like 2000s. Jeez. But yeah, no. But so like they performed that live or something, or maybe they didn't. I don't remember. But I know that they found a piece of lost media from that film that had only been heard in a couple parts, which is really cool. But my whole point is like, if you're going to do cool animatronic puppets, bring back the Muppets because that show was good. And then also on the show floor, they showed the little Zootopia ride vehicle, which looks cool because it should probably be a trackless dark ride vehicle thing. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's a ZPD thing. Yeah, that was kind of it for all the international stuff. Oh, did we talk about the cruise line last show?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, they showed off they gave the new name and showed off the potential, the Disney Treasure. They showed off a rendering of the lobby, which looks very similar to the Wish, and the ship in general should be very similar to the Wish. The statue inside is of the carpet from Aladdin, plus Aladdin and Jasmine. Cool. Yeah, and then they talked a little bit about Lighthouse Point, but it's like still so far far out that they showed blue sky concept art, and it was like, okay, cool. I mean, this wasn't even at the point when we knew that blue sky would be a bad omen for this panel, but yeah, mm-hmm. Other than that, there's kind of only Tokyo Disneyland left to talk about. And as far as that goes, there's only two things to really talk about, and that's Fantasy Springs and Tokyo Disney Sea, and then their updated Space Mountain.
I'm struggling to remember what was talked about with them. I guess I could just look at my notes, but
I mean, I just know it off the dome. There wasn't too much with Fantasy Springs specifically. There was the ride vehicles for all 4 rides, I want to say.
Oh, really?
That were on the show floor. So Tangled and Frozen, still boat rides, which we already knew. Mm-hmm. And then pirate ship kind of thing for the Peter Pan thing, but we don't really know how, but it's not like the traditional pirate ship. I mean, people have said for years, Flight of Passage kind of thing, but we don't really know.
Does Tokyo Disneyland have a Peter Pan? Like a Peter Pan's flight in Fantasyland? Honestly,
I don't know.
I just feel like I'm excited for that. I think it's so cool to theme a land after that. It's such a it's a fine IP, but you don't see it that much, so it's cool to do that. But it's just really interesting if they do have one. I didn't know if you knew that.
Yeah, I don't honestly know. That's an interesting thing that I've never once thought about. But I will say that with everyone being like, oh, maybe they could do a Flight of Passage thing with it, because that would work really well with Peter Pan if you have the big, because it's a little pirate boat thing that might fit 4 or 10, 5, 6 something in there amount of people, and you could put that in a giant dome, kind of like the Simpsons and Despicable Me's of the world. Mm-hmm. For attractions, which I mean, some people hate those things, but if you do it in a really well way with the Flight of Passage aspect, or that way of doing it, it could be awesome. Then you have a little Tinkerbell, little dark ride thing. Tinkerbell. Yeah, and that ride vehicle looks very just normal dark ride. But so all of that looks good, and then we got a visual of the Elsa animatronic for their Frozen ride, and it looks amazing.
Did I just black out the entire Tokyo thing? Because I even remember all the other international parks, but it's funny because I went to the bathroom for the song, which was after Tokyo, and then I remember the Elsa thing vaguely, but everything else I don't remember. And I guess you're saying the vehicles were on the show floor and I didn't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was all on the show floor. So really, but yeah, the Elsa animatronic looks similar to the one from the Beauty and the Beast attraction in Tokyo Disneyland. And that animatronic is amazing. That ride is amazing. That's honestly one of the most if I could choose one ride to go on from a Disney park that I haven't been to, that's honestly top 3.
I agree.
And it's that Journey to the Center of the Earth in Tokyo Disney Sea, and Mystic Manor maybe.
Yeah. Mystic Manor is up there for sure. For the Beauty and the Beast ride, quick tangent. I did not realize until a few weeks ago that the castle was like a full-size, full-scale castle. I thought it was just some sort of like either not like the castle at all or like the
one.
Yeah, the Fantasyland thing that's like really bad.
Yeah.
No, it's like a full castle. They basically have two castles. That's amazing.
Yeah, no, that's Tokyo Disneyland, man. That's the Oriental Land Company.
Right. But, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, so just in general, that animatronic looks great, even as, But then the only other thing for there was their Space Mountain will be going under its transformation, starting its transformation in 2024 and hopefully being open by 2027, I think they said. God, they only showed they showed the previously released concept art for it and then just showed a version of it at night. And boy, oh boy, does it look good. It looks amazing.
Right. Yeah, it looks fantastic. And I hope they bring that to Walt Disney World at some point because that sort of overhaul would be really, really cool.
It would be cool, but it's never happening.
Never say never. Yeah. I guess we got to get through some other things first.
Yes.
In the Magic Kingdom docket before we, eventually get to Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Those things being, are you ready for it? Are we cool?
Oh, yeah. I thought you were segueing perfectly.
I was segueing, but I feel like I got to ask you permission to segue. I didn't know if you were done with the...
Nah, take it hard. Go.
Okay. Well, speaking of, things that we got to get to in Magic Kingdom, at the end of the D23 Parks panel, got about a 10-minute, 15-minute segment with Josh D'Amaro and two other people talking about these blue sky concepts that they're potentially bringing to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom. For Magic Kingdom, they talked about Coco potentially becoming a land. They talked about Encanto being brought over as land, and then very, very briefly said something about a villains area potential expansion, and all of this is supposed to be taking place behind Big Thunder Mountain or beyond Big Thunder Mountain, which is admittedly a very, very cool tagline to stick it with. And then for Animal Kingdom, they talked about Dino Land being overhauled into either a Moana land or a Zootopia land, and it was all very vague. They released some blue sky concept art. Or both, yeah.
Which is, who knows?
Yeah. I guess I have two questions regarding it, but I can throw those out to you. We can, I don't know. I don't have super general thoughts about it, but do you have any thing you want to say before I ask you these questions?
The only general thoughts thing I will say is more on the Animal Kingdom side of things. Because the Magic Kingdom stuff I think we'll get into more. And I think we will get into the Animal Kingdom stuff as well. But in the press conference, I don't know if I said this in the last episode. I listened to our edited version. I don't think we did. But the way they first started, before it was we're just going to do blue sky, they kept saying Dino Land and very prominently being Dino Land this and Dino Land that. And for a second there, I legitimately thought that they were going to do an actual update, just completely rehandle that entire land and just push it up a notch. And I was like, oh my God, are they doing this? But nope.
We were freaking out. I was texting you that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They fooled me. I think they fooled everybody about that because I was texting the Limitless Park chat about it. Just they're doing Dino Land. They're revamping it. Something's happening with it. And then all of a sudden just they totally pivoted. It was such a weird, I'm not dwelling on that too much since the panel, but that was such a weird pivot to be yeah, they were very much emphasizing it. They were well, we know that Dino Land, could use some work, or we're doing this, maybe thinking about that, but what about Moana? And I was what?
Yeah, it was an odd pivot in the way they were talking about it. But beyond just that, the only other general thoughtsy thing I have is the picture of, or is the entire conceit of Animal Kingdom out the window? Is the entire point of it out the window? I'm not like one of those people that's like, oh, you can't push IP into everything, because you can. And I'm not saying like, oh, original stuff isn't great, but original stuff is great. But the whole, I do kind of understand the people that are like, well, animal, or like the whole Joe Rohde as the architect of Animal Kingdom and his like whole idea of what the park was supposed to be and what it is supposed to be, apparently. But with him leaving, or like whenever he left, and is it all out the window of supposed to be about animals and in humans' relationships with animals, versus Zootopia, which he has gone on record saying as that is a human to human, that is human relationships represented via animals. And to the general public, I totally get why Zootopia makes sense as like something to put in there, or to put in Animal Kingdom. Moana, not at all. But with Zootopia, it's like, I totally get it. But at the same time, is the central conceit out the window? That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, so I've been thinking about that a lot too. That was kind of one of the questions I had. It was like a half question. I think that the IP thing is fine, whatever. Are they the best IPs for the land? Not really, but also I don't think all hope is lost when it comes to that. I think Zootopia, I never thought about it that way. That's a really good point. I've never heard Joe Rohde say that, but I totally believe it.
Oh yeah, he's tweeted about it. Like there's legitimate tweets from responses of people
that's weird, because I
like
follow him.
Outlaid that exact point.
I think as far as those two IPs go, though, not all hope is lost. And I think that Zootopia, you could figure out a way to do it somehow. Like, I get it's animals' relationship with humans and vice versa, but I think that in a way, Zootopia was almost like meshing the two together, sort of like it was showing human relationships as animals, like you were kind of saying, but like there was definitely animal parts of Zootopia as well that like, I don't know. I think that
I vehemently disagree, but not in a way that's like
the movie very
that
well.
I'm like, oh, this can't be an Animal Kingdom, because if they are okay with getting rid of the general idea of what the original pitch and the pitch has been for years, then it fits perfectly. It's about animals. And
okay, to back and forth, you just to, for the fun of it, to engage in a little discourse. Dino Land wasn't a very good representation of that, in my opinion. Like, maybe they tried, but it's very muddied. Dinosaur, good. Dino Land,
as a whole, I actually do think the Chesters and Hesters part of Dino Land has never been great, but I do believe that the whole Dino Land theming actually was good as far as humans' relationships to animals.
But as Chester and Hester's is like the main part of Dino Land.
I would say not. I would say there are three parts to Dino Land, and they're all equally as part. There's Chesters and Hesters. There's the dig site, like with like
the boneyard,
Rhinoceros, yeah, and then there's Dinosaur. And I think the thing is, with like two of the three of those areas, I think it actually is pretty like well put into the context of humans' relationships with animals and nature, as these, like, as it's because we are learning more about these animals from, yes, they're not current animals, and thank God they aren't. I mean, even though it wouldn't be a problem for us today to deal with them. But in general, I think it actually does do a pretty good job of making it pretty how these animals and humans interacted. And not that really there was humans around during the dinosaur times. That's not what I'm saying, because there weren't. But it's more of a, how nature or how nature and animals are on this planet. And I think it's a good like history thing that you can bring in. I did not do a good point at saying exactly why I think it's good at it, but I don't think it's bad at doing it. I mean, Chester's and Hester's is, but
that's what I'm saying. I understand. So, I mean, right now I feel like the area that's being talked about is Chester and Hester's, because that's where Primeval World was, and now it's not. And that's still, I think, at least from an area land standpoint, is the biggest part. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you count the show building of Dinosaur, then maybe, but like, I don't know for sure. Point being, that part is the main thing that's talked about. Could they revamp Dinosaur into something else? Sure, and they probably would. But if they do Zootopia in like the Dinoland thing, I don't think it's going to do it any better or worse necessarily. I hope that it could do it better, but I don't think it would do it any worse. It's also a low bar, so I hope it, you know, crawls over that.
Yeah, I don't know. I generally don't think that. I mean, they could find a way to work in, like, I honestly think they could find a way somehow, in some weird way, to work Moana into the Animal Kingdom thesis than they could Zootopia. I think that could be way easier to do than Zootopia, because Zootopia is so hard because there's no humans.
Yeah, true. And I don't even think about that though. Like, I mean, well, yeah, that's a good point. But even just think of Moana and the overall idea of it. I mean, I know it was sort of like the voyaging, and I know it wasn't the central purpose to like put some sort of conservation message in it, but there was an idea of like, okay, island is hurting, preserving, we need to heal it. I know it was more like mythical than actual like scientific stuff, but that was still like, but
that was part of the movie. You want to save this, you want to protect our planet and our islands and our kind of things. And I think, but they are already doing that in Epcot, and not completely, but they are going to talk about the conservation of water and everything in that entire Journey of Water walkthrough. So I think they could have two separate attractions and lands in two different parks with the same IP. That's not a problem to me, but I do think it's interesting how you could work both of those messages in to Animal Kingdom, but I don't know it.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. That was part of like my one question was like the theming of Animal Kingdom. Now the second part of one of the questions I had for you was, if you because this is just blue sky, this isn't necessarily a thing. So let's say Disney hires you and they say, okay, we want you to put an IP in this, like we want you to revamp Dinoland and the Magic Kingdom area or something like that, instead of doing what?
I'm instantly being like, okay, well, I have to pick a pitch for this.
No, you don't have to do a pitch. I'm just like off the top of your head, like for Animal Kingdom, instead of like the 3 lands potentially and the 2, just one thing for Dino Land and then one thing for Behind Big Thunder. What would you put there? Like, think of an IP
for like animal. Wait, restate the question.
So Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom are both potentially getting new areas.
Yes.
For the sake of time and just the sake of simplicity, if you had to put an IP there for a new land, instead, not an original thing, but just an IP, what would you put for like Animal Kingdom for the Dino Land area, and what would you put Behind Big Thunder?
Animal Kingdom, I would go 2016 live action Jungle Book. I don't even think that's a good
2016.
Movie.
2016.
Is it not 2016?
It was 2021, Brandon.
No, live action Jungle Book?
Oh, no, I'm thinking Jungle Cruise.
Oh.
Sorry. I was thinking Jungle Cruise, and I was confused for a number of reasons because Jungle Cruise is a ride. Okay, I know what you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wait, now I need to figure out if
I'm pretty sure it was 2016.
Yeah, it's 2016. Yeah.
Yeah, no, dude, you're 100% right. I was thinking Jungle Cruise. I don't know why.
So I don't even know if it's an amazing movie. I haven't watched it since it was released, honestly. I don't even know if I saw it in theaters, but saw it soon after. But that story and just the Jungle Book in general. But I think they would want to tie in the new one because why not? It did well enough, I think. And it was probably the best live action remake, in my opinion, so far of all the ones I've watched. Not going to talk about Pinocchio. So that just
Did you watch it?
No, absolutely not.
I didn't watch it either, but I kind of want to.
And I don't. It's not even supposed to be so bad it's enjoyable. But no, so as far as that integrating the 2016 Jungle Book into it, you can do a human and nature story via the jungle, and it's supposed to be set in South America. And guess what? Animal Kingdom doesn't have a South America section because it's like you have Pandora, you have Asia, Africa, and then Discovery Island and Dinoland currently. And so it's like South America isn't represented. And not that like South America specifically would actually be represented by the Jungle Book movie, but you could work that in there to get like animals from South America in that kind of way of it. But I think that could be a good thing because you can work in the animals, you can work in a human and animals story relationship thing as far as not wanting to like cause like forest fires and everything in like or jungle fires in the way that they do in that movie. You could tie in a bunch of things. Do you have an idea for that area?
Yeah, I wasn't nearly thinking as in depth about it. Like I wasn't like, I mean, although that's perfect. I love that idea. This is kind of cheating because with rights, with how Universal has rights currently over Florida parks, I don't think it would work. But like this has been tossed around before. Wakanda, Marvel Wakanda area.
No, you already have. I mean, I'm a resident. I don't like I think the Black Panther movie is just okay.
I know. And I know you're going to say like it's Africa too. So like,
no,
was that?
I mean, okay. Yes, that is a point. But I think you could.
But if you have to do an IP, like I think it could really work.
But I don't feel like there's enough. Like a lot of what Wakanda, at least in the first movie and all the movies that we've seen it in, and I'm not talking comic books because I haven't read enough Black Panther comic books to care or to know anything. But a lot of what they focus on is technology. And while that is cool, I don't think like you could probably work in a conservation story there or something like that, but I don't see it.
What if you worked on, because I feel like this is something that could be a huge topic, especially in like just the coming years of the world, work in some sort of conversation piece about technology's relationship with animals in that. Like, I think there's definitely a world of that could be expanded more. And yeah, maybe it's not real science necessary and stuff like that, but they could still work it in. They do it with Avatar. I think it could. I would love it, and people would go nuts. People, you imagine the lines.
Yes, people would go nuts because Black Panther is for some reason a cultural phenomenon, which I get. There are reasons I get it, but
I cannot wait for Wakanda Forever. I know you don't like the CGI rhinos, Brandon. I know you don't like the CGI.
No, that's
fight.
Not why.
I thought you.
I mean, the Black Panther for PS3 thing is my constant joke that I will always throw out. But no. The reason I mainly don't like it, and I've kind of come up with this kind of on the fly, but I feel like the attraction, if you did a Wakanda land, I think the attraction would be focused on, you might be like riding those rhinos or something, or like riding alongside them. But I feel like it would be focused on a action set piece of like a battle. And I don't think human conflict should have. It's the same thing with Zootopia. I don't think like human against human conflict should be like the focus of an attraction in a park that's supposed to be about animals, even if it incorporates animals into it.
I 100% agree with that. But in my idea, which they won't do, but in my idea, there would be some sort of like Flight of Passage, Navi River Journey-esque, just breathtaking Wakanda some sort of technology. I don't know. I really think will they do that way? Probably not in this era of Disney, but they've done it with Avatar. So
my reason for them not doing that with Black Panther is they were able to do it with Avatar because one had been so long since the movies. And also, but like with Black Panther and all the MCU stuff, and what everyone knows the MCU for is action. It is an action sci-fi-ish series of movies.
Hey, not really. Have you seen She-Hulk? That's a law show.
Hey,
it's
man,
a show about law.
I actually don't mind She-Hulk. I'm one of the only people on the internet that doesn't mind it.
We can't get into this.
No, it's fine. I think because it's an action franchise or like franchise as far as the MCU and everything, I think what people would expect from it would be action and would be like that kind of thing. And so I think that they would be forced into, maybe they could have a Navi River Journey-ish thing of just taking you through the land, but then people would be like, well, this is just Navi River Journey because it's just a thing taking you through the. And I think diversification wise, I don't think that would be smart.
I do think that maybe Black Panther, I don't know, maybe I'm misreading the audience that likes Black Panther, but I feel like that's maybe the one exception. I feel like there's so much of that movie that's driven by like, and I think it's only going to happen more so in Wakanda Forever, but the culture of what's going on in there. And I think people love that. And I think that you could really build out a strong non-action packed thing. You could still do a hero shows up. Maybe you have one ride that's maybe more action packed or something like that, but you still work it into how the relationship with animals is helping them win the battle or whatever. That's a really shallow, idea, but I think it could work.
I mean, and I don't think action packed is wrong. I mean, look at Dinosaur. It's all action packed, and that's why people actually like it. But my whole, like, before we'll move on in a second. But like, just picture this, if you will, Andrew.
I'm ready.
Boat ride. Shanghai Pirates of the Caribbean. That technology.
Yeah.
Jungle Book 2016. Yeah. Amazing animatronics. Good screen integration, like with Navi River Journey, but even better. Like with the Pirates Shanghai, that screen that screen introduction and everything, that's amazing. But even more, you get at the end, you get like a giant set piece at the end, your giant finale pieces. There's a giant forest around you that's burning because of like what the Shere Khan is, and you're drifting like sideways down a river through this entire little field in the jungle. And I can't tell you how much of they could still do an awesome action-packed adventure, but still have it be like focused on conservation of both land and animals, but also just like, I don't know, man. When I picture
you just made me want to watch the Jungle Book movie again. Like I
honestly have been really making myself want to watch this too, which is weird. But no, I don't know, man. I think it's a small IP, and it's not like that did gangbusters for them, and that's why I doubt this would ever happen. But it's like if this was like talked about to like come, like if this expansion would have like opened by now or something, and this was like talked about previously, I think it totally could have happened because like it came out in 2016. It did decently well. I mean, it didn't like make Lion King remake money, but it still made a decent amount, I think. And it actually, I think it's like one of the best critically received live action remakes. I don't know.
I think
it could be really cool. They probably won't do anything with it, but I just think they could work it into the Animal Kingdom story stuff. They could make an amazing attraction with all their technology that they have. And yeah, I don't know. I think that just would be an awesome thing.
Yeah, I love the idea. All right, real quick, Magic Kingdom. What would you put there? That's so tough, right? Because I want to. It's so hard for me to like steer away from the villains thing. I don't even love that idea. Like I know some people clamor for that, and like
I similarly have never really understood that.
I don't really care.
I think
it's interesting because I always think when I'm actually thinking what's behind Big Thunder, I for some reason automatically go to Galaxy's Edge is behind Big Thunder because I think Disneyland.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you can't put that there, but it gets me thinking like, what could you put in Magic Kingdom that's like not that's like maybe not what you would expect, like not like a super common IP or something like that. But something that they could still see. I'm not saying that you have to do Marvel or Star Wars, but I would love to see like this is also cheating a little bit, like some sort of like Pixar area. Honestly, maybe like Pixar area, but like do the newer movies in a way. And I know this is cheating because it's picking multiple, but Soul and Luca specifically. I know that'd be really weird and hard to do a land, and like I can't think of attractions personally, but like if you did Soul of like the Dream area or something like that, or even like I don't know, maybe Inside Out, like a whole land. I know people talk about that for Imagination, but that's just spitballing. But I really want to see something done with Pixar. What do you got?
See, I don't dislike any of that. I think Seoul as a land would be really weird because what would you do? Would you make New York?
No, I think you do the Dream area, like, or not the Dream area, like the
afterlife. Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, that would be.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't think.
Well, I think
would be easy to work into a land or attraction.
I think it would be fascinating. I think maybe an attraction. If they did.
Yeah,
that's like maybe make a. Okay, this is also cheating because I said IP, but this is still like counting as IP. You make some sort of like conscience land, or like some sort of like internal, like almost like think Imagination, but on a land scale and a human scale. So it's very much like based off of like mankind, but like internally and like social interactions and stuff like that. And you do like the lands of Soul and the internal aspect of that. And I know it was afterlife, beyond life, but like there was a lot of personality aspects that go into it. And then you almost like converge it with Inside Out somehow. I think could be a really like interesting concept, and everything could look all like not really real and kind of like cloud floaty like stuff. I think that would be a very unique area that still fits in the land ideas of like you have Tomorrow and Fantasy, and then you could have the Land of the Mind. That's a stupid name, but like the land of, you know, beyond reality, or in some sort of like internal, some sort of land that's like that. I think would be really cool. What you got?
I think those IPs could be. I think Soul as a ride could actually be kind of cool. But like if you were in like a New Yorkish kind of area and then you walked into like the jazz club or something, and I don't know, that could be really cool. But honestly, I don't think they got it too wrong with what they did say was for beyond.
Sure. No, so I agree. Like
I would want to see there quite fully and honestly is three things. If you do like a 3-thing land, let's do all Pixar, or let's not do all Pixar things. Let's do all newer things. Not actually. No, never mind. One of them isn't new at all. It's 2009. I think you do go to Coco first, because Coco is Mexico. Or from like frontier land. You go from like the American West and South and everything. You go to Mexico, and then that's like an easy transitional point. Is it Ecuador? Or is it it's Colombia?
It's Colombia.
Yeah. So, and then you go to Colombia for Encanto. I don't love Encanto. I think it's all right. It's pretty good. I get the cultural movement behind it, but it's not for me. But I think that could also be really good, and it could be a really big hit for them. And I think them doing the Madrigal House would be amazing, because they could probably make it really cool if they did it like a full scale, like movable thing and everything. I don't really know how they would do an attraction, and the attraction concept they kind of talked about in the press conference, not my fave, but hey, to each their own. Were you going to say something? I have one more land.
Keep going.
Part of it.
Yep.
Then finally, this is like you're going like you go to like other like higher South America, and I don't exactly remember where in South America this is actually supposed to be, but Up. I get it. We already have Up in Animal Kingdom, but people have always wanted to like see the Up house and everything. But if you do like, is it like Discovery Falls or whatever it is?
Yeah.
If you do just like think of this in the entire way of Fantasy Springs in Tokyo, that is meshing together Frozen, Tangled, Peter Pan. those are all pretty diverse, like they're diverse enough within the exact same kind of like thematic thing. You think of Coco, Up, Encanto. It's all kind of like it's Mexico, so North America and South America, but it's like you mix it's like that's I guess no Central America, but you mix it all together. And I think you could actually create with like these three different IPs, you could create a really cohesive kind of not like it's all one land, like they would all be mini lands, but I think you could do a really cool attraction in each of these lands, whether they be smaller. And I think all of these, that's my biggest thing with all of these IPs is I think they suit themselves to either have like they're versatile enough to either have big attractions or small attractions. I don't think any like all of them could work to have a huge ginormous like Flight of Passage Rise of Resistance level ride. Yeah, they could all fit that. But they also could all just fit like a tiny little dark ride like a Winnie the Pooh, or even smaller than that, you could fit a couple flat rides in. And I think they would all work enough in it. And I also think it would work thematically as a transition, especially if you go like from like Encanto is where if you built like a bridge into Fantasyland, if you built like that kind of like as to be like, so it's not like a little back area and you just have to go back through the entire thing to like get out. I think you could transition all of that really well, like kind of do a like Coco right next to back of Big Thunder, then to the like I guess I'm thinking of this Main Street to Fantasyland is top to bottom, and it's to the right you do Encanto, and then above both of them you do Up. And I think that would be awesome.
Yeah, that is a extremely like cohesive thing, and I like that a lot as far as like how it blends. Yeah, they'll never do it because
they'll literally never do it.
They don't apparently have the brain of that cohesion. But I want to, before we wrap this up, I want to quickly retcon my answer and do something different, because I was thinking I don't have nearly as much of a cohesive idea, because I think Up's really the only property that you can continue it with. But I do have a broader concept that fits with Coco and Encanto still, but also retcons the Villains Land. I'm going to call this Mystery Land. Okay. That's the name, because mystery, I feel like, builds suspense and creates a certain like, okay, what am I getting myself into? So you have Coco and this mystery of the afterlife. You have Encanto, and this doesn't fit as well, but the mystery of the house and the different personalities and all the wonders that's behind each door and what they have together. And then you go, Brandon, you go from Encanto, and there's no sort of like blend of like, oh, like Colombia to this next thing. It doesn't make sense from geographical, but just stay with me from the theme of mystery. All right. You give the people what they want. Gravity Falls.
Oh,
Gravity Falls, Brandon. It would never happen. But honestly, if it were to happen for any Disney Channel show, it would happen for Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
it will never happen, but like since the show premiered, I feel like I've wanted some sort of Gravity Falls in the parks. And
of course.
Yeah. And just think of the endless like adventures and stuff that you could do with that. Like there's so many rides out of that. And there was only 2 seasons. It's just like, oh man, I want Gravity Falls so bad. I just needed to throw that in there.
No, trust me. If you could do a like foresty, like you could do the town of Gravity Falls. Not that you would do the entire part. You would just probably do like the shack. Yeah. But it's just, that is such a treasure trove of ideas, concepts, just like visual intrigue too. Because like they would have to do like a bunch of like taller trees, and like you would obviously have to like work it into the stuff that works in the Florida environment, which that might be hard, but it just, that would be such like a visually diverse area in comparison to literally all the rest of the Magic Kingdom. And so it's just, that would be amazing. Yeah. It'll never happen, but
it won't. But like, and if out of all the parks, that's the one to put it in. I know like some people I've heard briefly talk about Hollywood Studios, but like I would just love the idea of like it's mystery. It really is. Like it works with that fantasy really well. And I think that even like let's say they didn't do that, but like putting a mystic point or something, like the general concept of mystery, when I think of like fantasy tomorrow adventure, like that is
when you think of
word.
No, it's like when you think of like what originally like the four lands of Disneyland, they were supposed to be based off of all the big genres of the day. So you have Westerns, you have adventures, adventures like serials, then you have sci-fi, and then you have fantasy because they needed something to throw in their own Disney stuff. But like that was the original pitch of those four lands. And I think like, yeah, mystery kind of more just works again into all three, or like into 3 of 4 of those lands. Yeah. Yes. But like with the modern day pitch of it, yeah, a part of it would work is you do like a Mystic Point, you do another mini land of Mystic Point, Gravity Falls, and like that, and then something else.
Mystery is such a broad term.
Exactly.
Oh God!
What, you do the Great Mouse Detective?
Yeah. Wait, you do, what was the movie, The Rescue Rangers, that just came out, and then you just throw everything in there, and then we get to the ultimate like idea of like
it's a Disneyland within Disneyland.
Yeah, exactly.
God,
we've officially inverted the timeline.
They go to that Main Street area, like they build the Main Street from Rescue Rangers into. That would be insane, and that's my least and favorite idea at the same time.
There's like another one. It's Magic Kingdom Inception.
Yeah. How many levels down are we, Andrew? No, they make the cheese shop from that movie. Oof.
They make what? Oh, the cheese shop. Yeah.
The cheese shop. Yeah.
We want some stinky cheese. God, I love that I know that and hate that I know that like part. Yeah. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Does that do it?
That kind of does. I mean, as far as the whole blue sky thing, I don't even know if we exactly even touched about. We kind of dislike it. It's a cool pitch, but it's annoying as all hell. So
I figured it would be more fun to mention it so that we could say that we are, up to date on what is happening, and then do something that we think is better. Because I mean, we're basically doing what they wanted. That was basically a focus group. We're just doing one between us.
Exactly. We're just doing our own blue sky pitch session to the people.
Exactly, and ours is better. Well, I realized, after listening back to the podcast and then learning how to actually podcast and put like upload podcasts, that there are these things known as reviews and ratings on iTunes. So if anybody's listening out there and loves my sweet voice or Brandon's sweet voice, and
or if you just like the content,
or if you like the content, I guess, but mostly our sweet voices, you can drop a little nice review. What you think about the podcast? What should we talk about next? We have no idea, but apparently this is a weekly thing, so we're doing please
give us that highly coveted 5-star rating.
Yeah,
we're gonna build it up. We're going to build up. If I see that makes me more happy than literally anything. Okay.
Yeah. Same.
My joy is purely derived from the 5-star ratings that our podcast gets.
Brandon will wake up and be sad if you don't give us 5 stars.
Exactly.
So make sure you do that.
And also, if you do like the show, again, you can share it. Share it with people. Share it with anyone who you think. Yeah.
Do the thing. Find your number, neighbor.
Yeah.
Text Brandon. What's your phone number?
God, I'm not gonna dox myself on live on air. Yeah.
Text your number, neighbor. Just if you don't know what that is, just like subtract the number off of your phone number.
Don't do this, people. It's the most annoying thing ever.
And just share it. Just share the podcast with a total stranger. We'd love it if you would.
Or just share it with a friend.
Or do that
you think would be interested.
A friend, a family member, a potential lover, whoever.
Okay.
All right. Well, Brandon, sign us off.
I can't think of a sign off.